Hi, and welcome back to Toadstool Tarot. Today I'm sharing the CS Tarot. This is from Conrad Steyn, but the CS stands for Coleman Smith, as in Pamela Coleman Smith, the original artist behind the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. You probably have seen this a number of times. It's quite a popular deck, and there are many variations of it available at MakePlayingCards.com. The one I chose is on their S30 stock, which I absolutely love. It's this slippery, buttery stock, and with the black crackleback design, which looks almost like crocodile skin. I didn't buy this deck for the longest time. My original conception of it was that Conrad had aged the deck by creating an antique sort of crackle filter over the surface of all the cards. But upon closer look, the crackle area was not over the entire surface. It was only the backgrounds. And I thought, well, that's weird. If you want to make these cards look aged, why didn't you do it over the whole surface of the card? It doesn't really work. And it was only recently that I finally actually ordered a copy, and now that I look at them, I see that apparently was not his intent at all. I haven't spoken to him about it, but it appears that the intent was to apply aged, weathered texture to the backgrounds only, and the crackling effect is not consistent from card to card. There are different weights, different densities, different colorings, different effects. Some of them look like eggshell cracked eggshell surfaces. Others look like paint on walls, cracked and peeling. Others look like spackled walls that have been built up with plaster underneath the paint, where it sort of has a topographical effect. Others look like a mixed sort of rusted or oil-infused background where the colors shift into two different pools of light and dark, or rusty areas and more colorful areas. There's a whole variety of textures here. Some of them even look like batik textile handling methods. I don't know if you've ever worked with batik, where you apply wax to fabric and then you like bend or break the fabric where the wax is, which crackles it. Then you dip the fabric in dye. Then you go and you iron out all the wax and you get this lovely crackle effect. So there's a whole, and here's one that looks like it's got paint peeling from the wall, chipped away. Anyway, there's a whole array of different kinds of effects in these. So it's not simply a matter of aging the whole thing with a kind of an aged crackle look. The borders on these, which at first I didn't like but I absolutely love now, have this almost taffy color, like a pale coffee, milky coffee color. And the colors in the cards are beautiful. The line work is very crisp, and I'm sure you're familiar with all these images, but some of the cards, the effect is more distinct than others. In this one, The crackling is only in the blue, which is very limited. In the background, you almost don't even see it. And there are a couple of the cards, later ones that you'll see, where I can't even find the crackling effect. It's so subtle. These are beautiful cards. The coloring is beautiful. The effect is beautiful. They're great to work with. I love this stock anyway, and many things I'm prone to buy at Make Playing Cards just because of the wonderful feel of this card stock. In fact, it sort of inspired me to have my own deck manufactured there. And it was Conrad who actually helped advise me on how to handle their templates and work with Make Playing Cards. He made a lot of wonderfully constructive suggestions in helping me realize my own deck. So I'm grateful for that. Here you see the crackle only in the clouds. And this is the one that looks like chipped paint from a wall. I find it kind of curious in a way. The focus of these cards is the images, and yet by adding the crackle effect, he's almost pulled the focus away from the images and more into the crackle area. I'm not sure if, what his intent was, but it's definitely an interesting and different take on this deck. There's another one with like chipped paint in the crackle area of the background. And this one, the crackle effect looks different inside the wreath than out. I mean, it's sort of the same effect, except one is lighter in color and the other is darker, which is a bit odd. Here's another one with sort of chipped wall. I think these are the ones I like best, where you just have, well, I don't know if you know, but the camera's picking it up, but where you have a very consistent and smooth crackleback texture across the whole image. Now here, okay, you have to strain to see it, but it's in the gray brickwork there, the crackle. This one, I can only see it on the ground. Oh, this one's a real beauty. Well, this might be oh, there's a couple here. This one and the next one are maybe my two favorite cards in this deck. That crackle effect is gorgeous, as is this one. These two are very good too. I think maybe this yellow crackle background works particularly well. Maybe more so than some of the other colors, like the blues. Actually, most of the grays work pretty well. Well, this one's nice, but it gets sort of like paint chippy in the blue area near the bottom. This one's pretty. nice gray. And there it's only in the sky. Some of them have very limited areas where the effect is. Now this is one, like I said, this it's weird. It's like a topographical map. The background reminds me actually of portions of wall and ceiling in this crummy old apartment of mine that were never properly patched or fixed or restored, where the plaster under the paint was never filed down properly. It has this real topographical map appeal, like mountain ranges under the paint. And you can see the light effect, the light coming from this side and causing a shadow where the areas are raised. Now, if you go to the Make Playing Cards site and look for Conrad Steyn's shop, you'll see quite a number of variations for this deck. It comes in different colored crackle backs, different sizes. I think there's a large size, a mini size, and I believe that most of them just come shrink wrapped without packaging, but I'm not sure. I think you might be able to get some with boxes as well, although you tend to pay a hefty premium for boxed items at MPC. MPC is a great place to work with if you don't want to have keep an inventory or have an outlay of huge amount of money in order to create a deck, because they create the decks as ordered. So as a deck creator, you can upload your images to their templates and do a little online work, but you don't have to pay any money. And the only money you have to pay is when and if you order copies of the deck. And they cost a little extra, but it's worth the convenience, I think. It almost doubles the price in some cases, where you keep your initial profit level low. Their shipping and handling charges are very high, but considering you don't have to pay up front for a run of 100, 500, 1,000, whatever copies, I think it's worth it. Now here's one I was talking about before where I cannot find the crackle effect. If it's in the black area, that black is so dark that I don't see any effect on that card. This one, it is in the black sky, but it's very dark and very subtle. I don't think the camera will pick it up. Some people that have issues with RWS cards might like these better because of this coloration, because of the effect. I originally thought that this was going to give them an antique quality, but I don't think it's consistently done in a way that antiques them. Like the Centennial Edition, it has a kind of an antique look to it. And this one does sort of, but it's like, because the areas are relegated to certain portions of the illustration and not the entire illustration, I don't think one could call it antiqued. It's just that the atmosphere, let's say the atmosphere in the sky has cracked. The atmosphere has taken on a wrinkle. The sky is falling. Everything's breaking up and falling apart. Oh, this also comes with 2 bonus cards, which are lovely. These are not crackle affected. These are images of illustrations that Pixie had that were not part of this deck, but they're very nice. And now for a little bit of a teaser for future walkthroughs. Conrad also has done 2 Marseille decks. One is from Camois, and the other is Arnaud. And I ordered the Arnaud deck, and then later ordered the Camois deck. The Camois deck hasn't arrived yet. The Arnaud one has, and I absolutely love it. This gives just a little tease. Here's the back on this one. It's a crackle back, sort of white. And this is aged and has a beautiful aged color effect. And I love the color scheme in this Marseille deck. And I'm planning to do a side-by-side walkthrough of the Arnaud and the Camois when it shows up. So I won't show you any more of this right now. I'm waiting for that second deck. But in the meantime, visit MPC and Conrad's store and see if there's one in there that you like. They have this in sort of a sunny honey color, kind of an amber color, burnt orange. I think some had Pixie's signature in them originally. I don't know if any of those are still around or if he's eliminated all that. This one's black. So there are various backings on these, as well as different kinds of cardstock, different sizes, lots and lots of choices there to choose from. So until next time.